Hey, we finally did it. Good to have you, Moose.
Hello, am I sounding all right?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. And I'll be recording this space just in case other people want to hear it. I know you and I have wanted to shoot the shit for a while on here, so
Yeah, it's nice. I'm a little tired, but let's just go.
what time is it over there?
It's 6 p.m.
Okay, it's 9 in the morning over here.
Uh, yeah. So how did your video go?
It went all right. I'm probably gonna do a different one pretty soon and um go into a different direction. One thing I'm curious about that you seem to know a lot about that I just want to pick your brain about is when it comes to price and the demand of Bitcoin versus the demand of Kaspa. You have a lot of thought on that, especially when it comes to things like comparing it with energy consumption. So I'd like to just have you ramble a bit on that.
Yeah. I think the demand of a coin is what can you do with it? Every transaction is a potential for being anything. Like I can buy a banana or a coffee or an NFT or it can become anything, right?
Right.
So, so if Kaspa has more transactions and more possibilities, the demand for those possibilities will become higher than the possibilities you can get from Bitcoin, because you can only have like 4,000 transactions every 10 minutes on the base layer. So the potential of the network is much greater in Kaspa than in Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And that would drive demand as it is cheaper and faster too. You get the same security for less money.
Oh, I agree. I'm curious though, how would you explain that to someone who is very closed-minded and they say, I only want Bitcoin. It is the greatest asset. Institutions are adopting it and nothing can ever compete. How do you explain that to someone who is closed-minded about that and doesn't see demand in that way?
Yeah, but you can also ask them, why is the price moving slower when institutions are coming in than in the beginning when there were no institution and only retail?
Aha, see, that's a really good point. That's a really good point because it used to go really fast, and now we can
Yeah,
see people pulling out billions of dollars and the price hardly changes.
yeah.
So
So that's something.
when do you think the security budget is going to really be a problem that people won't be able to ignore anymore?
I think Bitcoin only has a problem because Kaspa exists, because Kaspa can compete with the fees.
Yeah.
But without Kaspa, there is no competition for Bitcoin. It would go to any price at any demand ever. But since there is competition with Kaspa, it becomes a problem for Bitcoin, but not without Kaspa.
Have you had any recent interactions with some Bitcoin maxis?
Nah,
Are
I
you
have
sure?
tried to. I have tried to stay away and calm myself a little. I was in a lot of arguments a little while back. It was fun, but it depleted my energy very much.
Yeah, I completely understand. You recently sent me a message. I'm trying to pull it up here because I wanted to ask you about it. The emergence of Caspa.
Yeah,
Okay, so I noticed in here that you mentioned Trade Ogre, even though we all know what happened with them. Why was that pivotal?
Because when you get a constant price, like on a market, when you can calculate your profits. You can't do that without a stable price. So as soon as it becomes tradable on the market and you can see the fiat price, a miner can calculate exactly how profitable it is to mine and then increase competition until you're not profitable anymore.
Why do you think it is that Trade Ogre accepted Kaspa before Mexi, and yet Trade Ogre is one that ended up taking off with people's money? Why do you think that is? And do you think that Mexi is following in the same footsteps?
I really hope not.
Well,
And I think Trade Ogre did it because they could.
don't you find it interesting that Mexi constantly shuts down the ability to do withdrawals every single time the price goes up to the next half cent for Kaspa?
Yeah, yeah, that's a little worrisome. Hopefully, people will understand that Mexi isn't the best place to store your Kaspa and will just move it out from there as soon as they can. Because I've had that problem too.
So Gate.io opened up after Mexi, and then you had mentioned that that was solidifying the calculable value. Can you
Yeah,
expand a little bit on what you meant by that?
like I said, you can. A miner has costs, capex costs, and opex costs, and when they have price, you can see the difference between the cost of production and the price of the coin. So then you can measure exactly how much you can invest and how much coins you can produce. And that's important for mining
Mm-hmm.
because then you can really max out on the mining because you know you can sell it for this price.
So is that also what you meant with um let's see, you put in here demand for Caspa initially outstripped this new supply, keeping profitability high. This lured ASIC manufacturers. Ice River began shipping early models like the KSO in mid 2023 and the KS1 by September 23. I'm going to continue reading what you wrote here for a second. ASIC's industrialized mining, raising the bar for entry and mirroring Bitcoin's leap from CPUs to specialized hardware. Greed deepened decentralization as big players like Marathon Digital joined in. So all of that there is related to the massive hash rate spike. Do you see the manufacturers for ASICs changing something that's going to actually change demand anytime soon?
No, demand for ASICs will come because of the demand for the coins. And as we all know, holding increases over time when price doesn't move. It's the same in Bitcoin. If you watch the hodl waves, when price goes down, people stop transacting, so coins become inactive. So the active supply shrinks. And even if the demand stays the same, the active supply will continue to shrink until it meets demand. And
Okay.
this happened like 2 or 3 months ago when Kaspa bottomed out at like 6 cents, I think. After that, we have only gotten higher lows.
Okay. So in some cases, there's demand, but there actually is no, I guess, physical money we can see there yet. I'll give an example. Photonic mining. There's been a lot of talk about that being the future of mining. But how do we gauge the demand for that when we don't have it?
Yeah, yeah. Photonic mining will be very capex heavy. So I think it will take a higher price for sure it, until it becomes profitable enough to put that R&D into creating photonic mining. But the profitability will rise. It has already been increasing.
Does Bitcoin have any? Do they have any photonic mining, or are they going in that direction?
No, I don't know. I've only heard it for Kaspa, but
Yeah.
I think Jonathan told some white lies of making it look easier to achieve than it actually was to get in some money to DAG Labs actually. But
Oh,
that's
really?
just my theory.
Interesting. I want to hear more about this theory. Why do you think there were some white lies behind it?
When I'm looking at Jonathan's Medium posts about when DAG Labs was active, it he sounds like a crypto CEO more than he was telling things that sounded reasonable, but they aren't that reasonable. So I think he had to get in money to the Out Labs to create the protocol. But I honestly think he never planned to do do that kind of release of Kaspa, and he always intended to make it launch it as it was launched, give it to the community. That's what I believe. I'm reading a lot between the lines.
I see that, and I like that about you. I like that you're able to see what isn't being said. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but I like that you at least question it. With photonic mining, the demand for mining will change. The demand, I think, would definitely impact the supply, and it seems as if miners would flock to that if they had it. I would think they would anyway, because you're talking about sunlight being able to power mining equipment to mine Kaspa, which I think that would also help the security network. You'd have a lot of miners and they're getting paid by the transaction fees, and they'd have less electricity, which would increase their overall profits.
Yeah,
Um,
you're right.
do do you
It
know when
depends on how it depends on how much more efficient they are, but I believe they will be like insanely efficient in producing hashes compared to normal ASICs. And if they can produce 10 times more for the same cost, then the profitability is 10 times higher. So yeah, it will create a very big investments overall into the photonic minings in that case. And that would cause a supply drop from miners because they don't have to sell everything. They just have to sell 1/10 of what they mine. If the profitability is 10 times higher, they can hold the rest.
that would make it a more valuable asset than Bitcoin, wouldn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and the security would be unparalleled.
Yeah, yeah. And right now the Bitcoin maxis are out there waving their flags and saying that nothing can beat Bitcoin security. And, you just laid out a perfect argument against that being the fact. I mean, the fact is Bitcoin is not going to be the end all when it comes to security. They may have really excellent security now, but it's not going to be something they're going to be able to sustain because the security budget is going to become more and more expensive, and Lightning Network can't support it. And they're relying on the Lightning Network to save them, and it's not.
Lightning is terrible. It's insane that they praise it so highly. I weep for them.
I am facing an argument against a few Bitcoiners when it comes to Lightning. They say that Lightning itself is open source, but Lightning Labs, it has a CEO. And so they're not seeing Lightning as centralized. So I'm curious what kind of points you could give me. I know this would be helpful for me in those conversations because I am constantly having to fight that argument with what Lightning actually is and how centralized it actually is. So, do you have any insight on that?
Yeah, I mean, it will always become more centralized because, like, if you would want to open a Lightning channel, you would have to pay the whole fee on the base layer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if a company can bunch 1,000 transactions in one opening, it would become much cheaper. So you would go with a cheaper option, which will always be the custodials, because they can through centralization they make it more efficient and cheaper. That's the whole point of centralization, right?
Right. Which
So
is, that's funny because just yesterday I listened to Bitcoin maxis in a space actually encouraging Bitcoin miners to stop mining. They actually said there were too many miners in the Bitcoin space. And I kept thinking that's the very definition of making it more centralized. they
they have no clue. They
they
don't
really
understand.
don't. They
They don't
don't.
understand their own network. It's mind blowing.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm still learning too. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't know. Like, I'll give you an example of something I don't know because I have not tried it. I've never actually used Lightning. I mean, I kind of see it um like a hot pan you don't touch. So I've never actually used Lightning, and part of that reason is because I have a fear of losing the money. And people say, oh, you just need to know how to use it. You need to make sure that the other person is also on the Lightning Network. You need to make sure that one person doesn't close the network. You need to make sure that you're doing it exactly this way or you could lose it. And then I hear that and go, I'm not going to take that risk.
No, no.
Why would I do that? And then I heard, and I don't know if this is true because I have not used it, but they say, well, you have to have some in your wallet already before you can use it. What's that about?
Yeah, the liquidity. Yeah,
Why?
uh,
I mean, that is not simple for grandma and grandpa and great Aunt Lucy. That's not simple.
no, and it's really weird because they talk about Lightning is great for the poor people, but you can't accept money if you don't have money.
Yeah, how
So
do
what
you
the fuck is
explain that
that about?
to somebody in Zambia? Like if you're trying to help, a child in Zambia and you're trying to help them get, money. I think there's families out there that make $56 a month. How
Yeah,
in the world are they going to already be expected to have Lightning in their wallet before they do transactions? I mean, it's ridiculous.
yeah. And I tried a couple of Lightning wallets when I was a Bitcoiner, and the thing is, the custodials, you don't have to send the Bitcoin to the wallet. You can increase the liquidity for a small fee. So that's another business model within the custodial Lightning networks.
Okay, can you explain that to me very slowly? Because that went over my head.
Okay, so let's say you want to send me $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, and
Okay,
I don't have liquidity for it.
right.
So in like wallet of Satoshi, I could raise the liquidity of my wallet. So they would send me Bitcoin and take it back, so that my liquidity would increase, so I can receive that $1,000 worth of Bitcoin from you.
So when you say that liquidity, does that mean that I have to have 1,000 Bitcoin already before you can send me 1,000 Bitcoin?
I don't know exactly how it works, but you have to have the. I need to study more on how it actually works, but I know you can't just accept because someone sends money to you. You have to have the bar up there.
Can you
So you can,
imagine? Hold on, Moose. Imagine that you're going grocery shopping and you want to buy a Snickers bar and some oranges, and you go up there to pay for it, and you grab a Visa card and you're told, hey, make sure you get the right network before you slide your card. I mean, can you imagine how crazy that would be? That's what they're asking us to do with Lightning is remember
yeah,
how to do the right steps of the dance. Whereas with
yeah, and that's
Casper, you just
technological
swipe
friction.
it. Exactly.
And technological friction is I think, the biggest hurdle for both Bitcoin and Kaspa. It reduces over time as things get more. Wallets will get better because people can make money off making better wallets, so they are incentivized to make better wallets.
Hmm.
But but for Lightning, no, that's it. Just feels terrible. Just
Yeah.
stop already.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody wants to have to go through an education course to use it. And that was another argument I heard them making yesterday. They actually put it in the analogy of a tango dance. They said, we just need to teach everybody how to tango and how to do it. And I'm thinking, no, there's people that don't want to be educated on money. They just want to spend it. And Kaspa makes it simple. You can just swipe the card and go. You don't need to be educated on what network to use and don't accidentally close the channel or you'll lose everything. I don't want to have to explain that to my dad who lives in an environment where there's no internet and he hates technology. I mean, if he's going to use it, if I'm going to onboard him, it needs to be as simple as possible. And there's no way he would accept Lightning. He would close his ears. He would walk away. He would say, I don't want to hear any more of it. He'd change the subject. It's
Yeah,
too complicated.
yeah. That's why I wrote a piece in the Sound Money Post. Did you read it?
Which one?
And the Sound Money post, I made it
Oh, yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah. I love that post. I'd love for you to expand on it. I know it was something a lot of people were really interested in.
yeah, I wrote Casper needs to iPhoneize and
Yeah.
make it as simple as possible. I think
Yes.
that is the most important thing for greater adoption. It needs to be as easy as an iPhone, like a 3-year-old can accidentally buy a Snickers bar.
Yeah, yeah, if you're going to buy a Snickers bar and some oranges at the grocery store, you don't need to be educated on what network to use. You should just swipe your card and go. And I think
Yeah,
that's the reason why people are excited about things like Tangent Pay. When that comes out, I believe it'll come out in Europe first and then America. But I think Coinbase, they just released their own card, and I think that one is crypto compatible. Do you know anything about that?
no, I haven't seen anything about that, but that's good.
Yeah, they just
That's really
released
good.
their own card. I'm actually not signed up at Coinbase because I had hacker security issues in the past, and so I just don't use them. But they do have a new card option, and I think it's one that's going to be similar to how Tangent Pay is, but I could be wrong because I don't actually have access to it.
I have to look it up, I think. But that would be great. I would very much like the Tangent card.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. And when stable coins come out, can you imagine all the different communities of people? I'm specifically thinking of a friend of mine who is a very devout Muslim. In her community and in her understanding of money, they see crypto as gambling and they don't want any part of it. Stable coins is actually something she said that she would consider actually owning crypto for if Kaspa were to have stable coins because then it doesn't feel like gambling and she can safely engage in the practice of using it and it not feeling risky, right? And
Yeah,
Tangent
together.
Pay, yeah. And in Tangent Pay, you can use those stable coins just as if you were using your Visa card anywhere. So I'm really looking forward to Tangent Pay.
Yeah, yeah. People don't understand fiat, so they see it as less risky. that's
Yeah.
that's hilarious to me. I'm sorry. There is 100% chance that you will lose all your wealth in 100 years if you hold fiat.
Oh yeah.
That's that's the risk. Like the
Speaking of
work,
a
the
hundred
work,
years.
the work I do today, the
Mhm.
money I get paid in 100 years, it will be worth nothing. In 100 years, I was a slave.
Yeah, it's true. And in a
But
100 years, we're going to look at our future generations and we're going to want to make sure that they have the ability to use the money we're investing for them today. And unfortunately, the Bitcoiners are going, hey, I'm wealthy. I have all this money. And yes, I'm for future generational wealth. But they're using their system in such a way that they're not allowing and thinking about their future generations having the ability to spend Bitcoin without using exorbitant fees. They're not thinking about how the future generations will spend the money that they're so-called interested in investing for them. It completely blows their mind. Like they can't see the future like that.
yeah, it's really weird.
Anyway, those are some of the arguments I've been having this week. And I try to just have conversations and it not become an argument. But honestly, with some of these Bitcoiners, I don't have the patience to sit there and play nice. I mean, sometimes I just want to shake them and say, look, look at
Yeah,
this, you know?
yeah, but they need to understand that the store of value property comes from the mining, and if you have fair mining in Bitcoin and you have fair mining in Kaspa, then they have the same store of value property. It's as simple as that. Why you don't have store of value property in Litecoin, for example, even if it wasn't uh, uh, dual mined with Dogecoin, if it wasn't an, a single network, it still produces a lot of orphans because it has 2.5 minute block times. So it's the orphan rate is quite high. So the miners will see profitability from the cost of mining and the price of the coin, but they won't make all blocks valid. So they will
Right.
lose money by mining it.
And it's interesting. You mentioned the fact that they could lose money doing it. They will lose money doing it. And yet, in your post that you made about Satoshi, how he had asked for a gentleman's agreement, and remember he had this idea that the people mining would not be greedy. You remember that?
Yeah, yeah,
So they're losing money. Satoshi was, having this agreement that said, hey, if you're going to mine, don't be greedy. And then the ethos completely shifted and it all became about greed. And yet,
yeah. Some of
right?
Satoshi's messages is like, "You're naive, man. What are you talking about?" So some of his posts was really naive in my eyes. Like he didn't really comprehend what he had built.
Yeah, exactly. He really didn't. I don't think that he ever envisioned that one day people would not, or not people, I should say, a portion of people would not see it as peer to peer cash, electronic cash. They would see it as only a store of value. That was something that was never brought up in conversations back then. I think
No.
that he would be shocked seeing how things are today because it wasn't what he was first bringing to the table back then. That was just not something brought to the conversation at all.
Yeah.
I
No.
don't know if I would call him naive, though. I don't know if I could ever call someone of
No. No.
Satoshi
No. No.
caliber.
I didn't mean it like that. That sounded much harsher than I intended. It's just that the thing he built is so complex and it's completely driven by greed. The decentralization is driven by greed. A
Hmm.
miner would not accept a hard fork if it gave him less money. So and something he proposed would give them less money, and then it sounded like he was disappointed that they would not accept losing money. They would never. They had invested a lot of money to mine the coin, and some proposals would take that future profit away.
What are your thoughts on? I'm going to just change the subject for a quick second. What are your thoughts on Cassia messaging? I think I heard that they're looking into, I say they, I'm referring to Alex. He's considering moving into the direction of creating an internal wallet because the Casware wallet uh, is having remote connection issues, and it's making it so that people have a very difficult time actually using the system. Have you seen any of those bugs, and are you following any of that by any chance?
No, I'm just reading what pops up in the feed. I'm not actively searching for info about it, but Cassia has worked out great for me. I
Really?
just
See, I
imported.
can't use it. There's too many bugs. For me, there have been way too many bugs. I have not been able to use it with any consistency. And a lot of it isn't the fault of Cassia. It's the fault of Casware's connection to Cassia. And so my understanding is that the developer of Cassia is now looking at creating their own wallet to prevent those type of issues, which would actually help make Cassia standalone, which would increase its overall security because then it's not dependent on, an outside extension.
Yeah, independence is key for decentralized messaging.
Yeah.
That
And it
I
also
think.
means improving a wallet. You had brought that up earlier about, wallet improvement, and Cassia is actually looking to do that right now.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that very much. I think Cassia should be implemented in multiple wallets. It would be nice to just be able to go into the Caspian wallet and just go into Cassia through there, like a messaging app inside the wallet.
Yeah. And that helps the network directly, right? So
Yeah,
when people start using that, that's also going to be another factor that keeps the network running. It's going to actually help the security budget over time. And, Bitcoin doesn't have a messaging system, and people use text messages all the time. And now people can have a sovereign way of doing that that puts the power in the people's hands.
yeah. If you try to build Cassia on Bitcoin, they would call it spam, and they would mute that idea because everything that isn't a pure transaction is spam in the Bitcoin community.
Right?
That's not permissionless. That's not open. If you, it's not open at all.
It's really not. I think you had said the rich stay rich because the poor pay for their security.
Yeah, that's my quote.
It is. It is. You're like, so if Bitcoin is only for the rich, then who's going to pay for the security?
The poor people, but they can't afford
People.
it.
Yeah, mom
We're
and
gonna pay
pop.
for our own security.
They're saying, hey, you can make so much money off Bitcoin. We need everyone to adopt it. But then they want only the poor people to pay those security fees because they're not willing to spend it. They just want to hold it.
Yeah, or without it.
Exactly. So is there anything else on your mind, or do you think we should open the floor to another speaker to join us?
I don't know. I'm a little tired. My mind went into that post I wrote today.
Yeah,
So I can ask a question, but I can't really think straight right now.
I get it. And I appreciate it. I know you and I have talked for weeks about doing this and just being able to shoot the shit. So I really appreciate that you're doing this even while you're tired. If anyone
Yeah,
wants to
of
jump
course.
up, feel free to request to be a speaker and we'll go from there. Does anyone want to jump in? All right. It looks like this may be a good stopping point for us then. Oh, wait. We got a requester. Let's see who. Onion. All right. All right, Onion, you are a speaker. Welcome. How are you?
Good, good. I'm decompressing from yesterday. From
Oh my God.
that was insane.
Yeah, you were there. You heard the insanity. Yeah, I'm still trying to decompress from that as well. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah. What were some of the craziest things you heard yesterday?
I think for me, the thing that stuck out the most was this idea that you need to educate the public on how to use Lightning in order for it to be adopted. I think that that is a very complicated way of convincing people to use money. I mean, when you go and you get something like Apple Pay or Venmo, you don't want to have to take a Tango class to learn how to use it.
Exactly. Isn't that what they were saying?
Yeah, and they said that, they said there should be fewer Bitcoin miners.
Oh yeah. That was great. I have that clip. I want to post it. I was like, how on earth? Yeah, I don't think they understand what Bitcoin is.
Yeah, and that's the very definition of centralized. It's making it so that only a select few have the power. I mean, that takes power away from people's hands. That really got to me. There was a lot, but I think the other thing that also stuck out to me was the fact that when you brought up just one point, you were shot down so quickly, right? Without any further conversation. It was just diverted right to the ground. And I don't know. I felt like a lot of that was pretty unfair, to be honest.
Yeah, I had asked, I think, one question, and he kind of, what's weird is it's either diverted or they just have no idea how to answer it. There's always like a long pause. So I don't know. And then I asked another question, and then someone tried to shill Monero, and then, I don't know if you have you seen the Monero stuff right now?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm up to speed on it.
So yeah, I just feel bad for that guy. He like put his life's work into that call to shill Monero, and now he's having to really fight for that network.
He made a lot of good arguments. They just in that Bitcoin space, they didn't want to hear anything privacy related. And even with Kaspa, we have Cas Mixer now, which actually provides some privacy features. So I think there's opportunity for the Kaspa ecosystem to grab a lot of those Monero users who now see evidence of their security failures and can take advantage of some of the privacy features that Kaspa offers.
Oh, I never thought about that. Is
Mhm.
there actually a mixer for Caspa?
Yeah, it's called Cas Mixer. And if you go to XXIM's Twitter page, you can actually listen to an interview that Ankit did with the developer of Cas Mixer to not only learn what they can currently do, but also learn about what they have in store for the future.
Hmm. I'll check it out. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's a lot of different ways they're doing it. And it's not just splitting one transaction. You can do multiple transactions that get split. And it's fascinating. Now, the gentleman that was on that space yesterday, was he the Monero developer?
I actually have no idea.
I didn't think he was. I thought he was just a user who was very privacy focused, but I could be wrong. Anyway, he was making the point that there's this need for privacy, and the argument that was placed after he said, hey, we need privacy, he was met with the argument that forensic audits prevent any legitimate privacy. And maybe he's right. Maybe there is no way to really have privacy, but that doesn't mean that we should make it easier for people to
Yeah.
see every little thing that we do. And I think having that extra layer of protection is good, just like people who want to use a VPN. And the other argument people have made against that is, oh, if you need privacy, you must be doing something wrong. You must be doing something on the dark net. But no, some people just, want to have a little privacy and not have people know that their money's being spent on hookers or whatever.
Yeah. Totally.
Like let people buy their guns, let them do what they want. It's their money. Let the people have the power. And if you don't like how they're spending it, then whatever. That doesn't mean that there shouldn't be consequences for breaking the law, but I don't think that people should be prevented privacy. This is why I really support Cast Mixer.
Oh,
I'm glad that is something that is in development and will continue to be in development and grow. Like, I love that so much. I haven't used it, but I want to.
what's interesting you kind of mentioned is how like you can kind of pick and choose what feature, like pretty much for every feature that Bitcoin's losing, like Monero pops up, or like the medium of exchange function. We're worried about that, but like as more and more features go, I think Kaspa will like literally absorb just every new feature that Bitcoin loses, I think.
Yeah, and the features that Kaspa outdoes for Solana and Ethereum, eventually Bitcoin's going to see it too. It's inevitable, right? So all of us are early because we can see what's inevitable down the road.
Exactly. So, pretty amazing things were said yesterday.
What would you have said if they had let you have the floor?
Ooh, I'm trying to remember my question. I think I just said most technologies. I'm trying to remember. I'll say what I asked for the people in the audience right now, I guess. But I think I asked like a concern I had. I just said like, hey, like most technologies gain features, and I was just like, why is it that Bitcoin loses features as it gets older? I was just like worried about that, right? And if they had let me speak, I think I would have tried to mention that there's one feature that Gary loves, and it's the store of value feature. That's all he cares about. That's all
Yeah.
he's a real estate guy. That's all he cares about. And I wanted to hint at him that like, look, dude, like if the sovereignty feature goes and the medium of exchange feature goes, there's no network to support your store of value feature. You know what I mean? Like, but I think that's what I would have said. But what about you? What would you have asked him?
I didn't want to ask him anything. I felt like he was too close-minded and I'm too impatient.
Totally valid. Totally valid.
I mean, I don't have the kind of patience that a lot of people have when it comes to dealing with people who are closed-minded. I don't have that patience. I don't have that ability to sit there and listen to the bullshit. Honestly, I want to have conversations with people who are willing to be critical about it and think outside the box and admit when they don't know something or ask if they want to know more about something. I mean, I think that's what makes an open mind important, is being able to accept when you could be misinformed about something and open your mind to the idea of being educated about something with a new angle or a new perspective, because all of us come into this with our own relative experiences, and to just close everyone off because you're only interested in one asset, it really closes the idea to utility and use cases and other reasons that people want to make money that are different than what you think is the only way to make money.
Yeah, Spot on. They're really blindsided. Like they only care about one thing and they'll shut out literally any other idea.
And a lot of them are in the financial industry, so they understand the importance of putting your money into different baskets and not keeping it in one place. But they're very centralized in their thinking that the only crypto that's valid and legitimate and worthy is Bitcoin. And that's a centralized idea. That's like playing Monopoly and requiring everyone to use Bitcoin dollars, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
dang.
I don't want to be forced to use that. Let me use what I want to use.
Exactly. It's a free market. Like we should be able to use iPhones, Android, Mac, like why does money have to be this one? Like there's 1,000 fiat currencies. Like why is there only one Bitcoin, you know? Spot on.
Did you have anything you wanted to ask Moose while he's here?
Oh, I actually completely forgot, but no, he made a bunch of good stuff. I like what he says. He's got a good approach. My brain is too fried right now but yeah. Oh, what he said about Litecoin. That's what it was.
What did I say about Litecoin?
Oh, my brain is having to work now. I think something I've been worried about is how I feel like a lot of people in Bitcoin are gonna hit like pain points. And you mentioned Litecoin. I can totally see a future where people who are like uneducated go to Litecoin maybe, but like they might not know that's like a ticking time bomb. So I'm just curious, like what are y'all's thoughts maybe? Like do you think people are gonna mistake Kaspa for Litecoin or something weird like that? Maybe?
I think people that don't have a clue will try different things that sounds good but isn't good. Like Litecoin, for example, it's terrible because the throughput is higher in Bitcoin than in Bitcoin, so the fee market starts a lot later, which means fee miners aren't paid as much fees. It's a lower security budget, and there's also a higher rate of orphans in Litecoin than it is in Bitcoin. So even if you mine 100 blocks, you will not get paid 100 blocks. You will probably be paid like 96 blocks or something, and four will be just wasted energy. So if you predicted that you need 100 blocks one to be profitable, you will be unprofitable. And you, as a miners, don't even understand why they are losing money because they don't even understand what they're doing. Most very many miners have no idea of what they're doing.
Wow. That's a good.
Do you mind, Moose?
No, I don't mind. I'm smarter than that. I buy.
Well, I'm just saying, since you know the ways in which are profitable versus which are not, I would think that if you were mining, you'd make a killing off of it. But that's just me personally.
I would mine if I had the chance to mine at like very low energy costs. Like I know that the threshold is 9 cents per kilowatt. So if I can be under 9 cents per kilowatt, I would mine profitably at all times. So I would probably be a very good miner, but I don't have the right circumstances.
If photonic mining was here, would those be the right circumstances?
Oh, what did you say?
If photonic mining were here, would those be the right circumstances?
Yeah,
So
that
there we
is,
go.
but
So you're a future miner. You're just waiting on photonic mining.
yeah, yeah, probably.
Yeah, when we get here, I'm going to do it too. I'm not currently mining. I do test net stuff, and I have mined on the test net and stuff like that. But I'm waiting for photonic mining. I want to do something that's the most efficient possible, so I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, yeah. If there comes like home photonic miners, that would be sick.
Yeah. And can you imagine? I can already see the future. Can you imagine photonic mining being something built into Tesla cars?
Yeah.
I mean, they're already headed in that direction. I've heard conversations about them building payment processors into their vehicles, and because of the power that comes with, their electric system, you wouldn't even need electricity at all to run photonic mining. You could put a little solar panel somewhere on the vehicle and actually be making money while you're charging your vehicle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, I have a.
Photonic mining,
Oh, sorry.
it'll change the game.
I was gonna ask what's photonic mining? I don't think I've heard of this.
It's basically
Oh,
solar mining. It's using photons as energy.
Oh wow.
yeah. You should read about it. I think you can read about it in like hashtags Medium posts.
Wait,
There
I
are
had
some.
about it.
I mean, Jonathan Sompolinski's Medium posts. There's some of the optical proof of work there.
Hell yeah, thank you.
Hmm? I believe, I'm trying to look it up right now. I believe isn't Key behind it? It's not KEF, it's Key, isn't it? Key's behind it.
Yeah, KIA had some research and development around optical mining. They posted about it like a month ago, I think.
Yes. Yes, they did. I'm looking at it right now. So, yeah, it's very exciting. It uses low thermal energy generation, reduces electronic resistance, it's scalable. It has potential for denser integration of processing elements than in silicone ASICs. Let's see. They say it's revolutionary for Kaspa's proof of work with K-heavy hash because it's designed to be optical mining ready to handle those intense, repetitive arithmetic involved. Let's see. It says it leverages optical components to distribute hashing tasks and perform intermediate checks at light speed. And it really is light. I mean, you're dealing with photons, you're dealing with light. So when they say it's going at the speed of light, they're technically using light energy as power. It's high speed, low energy consumption, and it would completely disrupt energy intensive mining, that whole sector. So it's something a lot of people, including myself, are watching because that would disrupt the whole energy. It would the whole sector for energy would be completely disrupted once photonic mining goes live. So we got to
Yeah.
watch key for that. I'm going to approve YOLO to speak. All right, YOLO, you are a speaker. Welcome. Thank you. Went back to listening. Oh well. Does anyone else want to request to speak while we're still here? No? All right. Well, do any of the speakers have anything that you would like to add or any topics you'd like to bring up while we're here?
I think we covered a lot of good stuff.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I
Yeah,
have
let's do a good
recorded
space.
this. Yeah. I recorded this, so anyone who wants to go back and listen to it from the beginning or share it, feel free to. And yeah, I look forward to doing this again. Thank you so much for listening. And Moose, thank you for shooting the shit with me.
Yeah,
Onion, thanks for joining us.
yeah,
Again,
this was fun.
yeah, and we came into this without really any agenda or theme. We just wanted to shoot the shit, and we just ended up covering a lot of topics. And in the process, I feel like I learned a lot from you, Moose. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Everyone have a great day.
Thanks. Bye bye.
Yeah, bye.